guys, in this video we're going to be checking out the Bandai S.H.Figuarts 20th Anniversary Sailor Moon. Let's take the tape measure here. Sailor Moon stands close to about 6 inches. She actually stands just shy of 5.5 inches tall. For displaying options, she comes with this really neat Sailor Moon heart-shaped display stand. I've gone ahead and already put in the adjustable neck. There's a neck that adjusts in 3 places, one at the base, one at the midpoint, and one at the top. And then at the top, where there is the waist clip, it does have an adjustable sides to it, so you can get that wrapped very easily around her waist. One thing to note with the display base is that there's actually 3 places where you can peg her in. You simply just have to pop these little extra plugs out of the sections where you want to replace it, so you could either have it on any of the corners of the heart. Some nice decorative work there on the stand itself, featuring the moon itself and Sailor Moon at the top of that. Before we have a look at her interchangeable faces and her hands, which she does have a lot of, let's first have a look at her heart moon, or spiral heart moon rod. And it actually looks really nice here, I have to admit. It looks like it's been completely painted with a pink handle. Some nice decorative gold added not only to the bottom of it, but right to the top. You've got some nice decorative there in the gold around the heart, and some nice detailing there on the front there as well. She can hold it. Currently she can't hold it because she doesn't have the proper hands, but she does come with enough hands to easily display her with the heart moon rod. We'll just actually, it's easier for me to put it in her hand first. There we go. And then we'll just replace out her hands. Her hands are very small, as you can see right there. And to take the hands off, I find it's easier just to kind of hold it right around the wrist area and wiggle the hand off. You can see a very small peg making up Sailor Moon's wrists. And we just plug that into place, and then she's got a nice display option for if you want to have her displayed with the rod. It's a nice way to showcase her. You can obviously put it in her other hand as well. But I think we'll just take this off just for the time being. I'm so sorry, Sailor. Just for the time being, while we have a look at the rest of the details on the figure. And this figure is gorgeous. Let's first have a look at her face. Now, she is a much smaller S.H.Figuarts figure than some of the other ones that we've looked at previously, but it's certainly, just because of her sheer size, doesn't mean that she is skimped on beautiful looking details. Right down to her earrings, which have been sculpted in underneath her ears. The little strands of hair have been painted in. Beautiful looking eyes, though. It's one of the prettiest looking Sailor Moon figures I've seen, where they've got this glistening light reflecting off of her eyes. And underneath her bangs, you can see there she's got her gold tiara and little necklace there as well. Her colors I can only describe as something more of a pastel. The whites, the blues, and especially the pinks read more of a pastel color instead of a very vibrant color. I do like the coloring choice that they went with on the boots, as well as basically all the accent areas, which are this kind of raspberry pink. It's a glorious looking color, right down to the sculpting of the bow on the back, all making use of that same pink color. Looks really nice on this particular figure. But one of the biggest assets, one of the strongest assets for this particular figure is, again, that face. The face sculpt is perfect. What I do like too is that with the S.H.Figuarts, they've sculpted, or not, I shouldn't say sculpted, but they've made articulated hair. So you can actually move the hair around on its own independent ball joint, which is actually pretty clever, especially if you want to be displaying her, you know, perhaps with the rod in hand. Maybe, she could be slightly kind of leg bent, flying sort of thing. And you can have the hair kind of blowing off to the side here, as if, you know, the wind's coming in from this one way. It would really add for a dynamic effect for this particular figure. The only downside is I find like one of the, I don't know over the course of period of time, but the hair itself does feel like it could eventually start getting a little loose. When you get to some areas, it kind of seems to want to lock itself in place, but then when you get to a lower portion or lower area, the hair does seem to want to just kind of flop around a bit. But I absolutely love that face sculpt. Now, she does come with a couple of variations to that face that if you are no stranger to S.H. Figuarts, you kind of know how everything goes together. You want to simply just pull the bangs off first and make sure you don't do anything to those to damage that. And then you can go ahead and remove the face. And the face actually is a little bit more trickier to get off, because taking it off, you want to not accidentally clip. There's a close-up of her face there. You don't want to accidentally clip those little earrings and break those off in any which way. Just before we switch out her face, there is the defaulted face, where you can see her eyes are looking forward, and she has a very slight smile, I would say, on her face. Let's replace it quickly, because she looks a little creepy without a replaceable face. She does also have a face in which her mouth is open and her eyes are looking sideways, looking off to the side there. Everything else basically to the face is exactly the same. And actually, funny enough, let me see if I can get her, I'll actually just lay her down for a second. I find some of the interchangeable faces are so close that they almost didn't even necessarily need to include as many as they did. Like, if you look at these two faces, they're almost identical, other than the fact that this one face has the eyes facing to the side, and this one has its eyes facing forward. The same can be said for the other pair of interchangeable heads. You got a more sterner look, or more composed look of Sailor here. Again, the eyes are painted, are sculpted or painted in such a way that they're facing now to this side, whereas the other one is facing straight forward. Subtle, very subtle in designs, but again, I don't know necessarily. I appreciate the fact that they would have come with as many as they did, but I don't know if necessarily I would say she needed to come with as many interchangeable faces. That's just me. Oh, by the way, when you are putting it back into place, you can see that she's got one larger peg, two small pegs, one larger peg hole, two smaller peg holes down below. So that just slides into place, or pops into place. And let's finish off the look, because it looks a little strange that she doesn't have her bangs. The bangs, there's just, again, two pegs on the sides, peg at the top. That slides just into the top there. And you get yourself a pretty seamless look. The hair, the bangs, look a slight bit darker in the yellow versus the lighter yellow at the top of her head, but it's something that you really don't notice it as much, because they've incorporated some of that lighter yellow to the front of the bangs too, so there's a little bit of a transitioning effect. That's a great looking face sculpt as well. Again, you can make use of, we'll just take the hand off, again grabbing onto the wrist. You don't want to take the peg off in the process. Peg that into place. There we go. And again, you can get yourself, you know, some pretty clever, probably a little bit more clever than me, but some clever poses for Sailor here. Okay, let's put her down for a second. One of the other things we can talk about, and there's a lot to talk about here, is the multitude of interchangeable hands. Now, so currently, let's just move these head sculpts out of the way here. We'll just move those over there. Currently, as you can see, I mean, as hands go, there's two of them currently in the sockets, but then she has all these extra hands right here, which is something that S.H. Figuarts seem to give you a lot of, extra hands. Let's go through those together. Majority of these are gestured hands, so you've kind of got like gestured, almost somewhat peace sign hands with the thumbs out. You've got a couple of relaxed palms, slightly bent palms, as you can see here. And she's got a couple of hands for holding. Whoops, I try not to, yeah, do definitely not drop these. They're very, very small, but she's got one for holding the wand. I've already got the other one in her hand for holding the wand. She's got a couple of pointing fingers. And again, some more gestured hands. She's got another flat palm, some closed fists. Let's count these all off so you guys can see how many there actually are. And in the process, I'll grab the other one there as well. So we got 2, and then we've got another 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 interchangeable hands to choose from. That's a lot of hands, really, for Sailor Moon here. Again, did she necessarily need that many hands? No, but that's one thing that you'll get with the S.H. Figuarts pieces. You'll get a ton of hands and tons of different options for how you want to customize the figure for your own display. Let's run through Sailor Moon's posability. Her head is on a very nice ball joint, a little limited because her hair does brush up against, you know, shoulders, arms, and whatnot. Of course, you can move the hair outward as well. Whoops, not through the process of unpegging that. Again, it's just a little ball joint, so we just peg that back into place. There we go. But you can move the hair really exaggerated outward if you really want to. The shoulders have a slight pivot where you can move the shoulders forward and back, and hopefully you're seeing that properly in the video. The arms can technically rotate all the way around as well. She has not quite a double hinged elbow, but a much more broader range of motion versus just the regular hinge in the elbow, if that makes any sense. You can also rotate the forearm as well. You can rotate the hand as well as hinge that back and forth. I don't know what it is. I really like S.H. Figuarts when you move joints. You've got that little clickety-click, almost ratcheted joint going. I do like the sound of that. I don't know if that makes me crazy or not. When it gets to her torso, you can move her torso all the way around via that ball joint there. She does not seem to have anything in the lower waist where you can move that down. But then the legs split outward, forward and back. This is not a very soft rubber. It's sculpted in such a way that you can move the legs and they at least get enough clearance that you can move the legs forward and back. And again, a fair good split if you want to get in poses like that. Again, it's not quite, well, it is somewhat of a double hinged knee, as if you look at the back here, there's a hinge here, and then there's a hinge at the top as well, which serves basically as a double hinge knee, even though from the front it doesn't look like it's any more than just a single hinge. You can rotate it ever so slightly. I wouldn't advise really rotating it too much because it's not really intended to be rotated all that much here. And then for the feet, you can move them up and down as well as rotate them all the way around. And in that way you get a slight ankle pivot, but it's more so forward and back and an all the way around rotation. And there is Sailor Moon. The Bandai S.H. Figuarts 20th Anniversary Sailor Moon may be small in size, but she more than makes up for it in a great-looking sculpt, a beautiful paint scheme, and a ton of interchangeable faces and hands. This is probably one of the better-looking Sailor Moon pieces that I've seen on the market, and all the more reason why I wanted to add her to my collection. If you guys are interested in adding this one to your collection as well, don't wait. You can head over to WriteStuffAnime.com. I'll put the link down below in the description below this video, and you can head over there and not only pick up Sailor Moon, but you can also pick up a ton of other statues, collectibles, and so much more, all in anime theme. As always, guys, thanks for watching as you always do. And if you certainly like this video, hit it with a like. If you haven't had a chance to subscribe to this channel, click that little subscribe button down below, and you're good to go. As always, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.